Hey, everybody, what is going on? Serial Lover Jive here, and today we got the latest and greatest Rust Console Edition news. And we've got news for the last, I don't know what we're calling it, the generation, the Rust Console Edition that works on old consoles. That's right, those consoles that are 10 years old, 15 years old, they are almost vintage, they're almost antiques, they are old, and the game runs on those, the current game runs on those. And we've got some news regarding the next generation of the game. So we're going to get into all that, but first, let's talk about money, because you can actually donate. I don't care. You can donate money to me. That would be pretty awesome, but you don't need to. If you do put money down, if you pay for a comment, I'll pin it. I promise. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Last time someone paid me, I missed the comment. It took like 5 weeks for me to figure it out, and then I had to make a whole video apologizing to them. I don't even think they watched the video, which sucks, but it is what it is. Anyways, now that I've dissuaded you from giving me any money whatsoever, let's talk about the Rust Console Edition news, because we've got news that covers a lot of things. We've got anti-cheat, we've got new maps, and we've got some new graphical sneak peeks. And we're going to start off with this bear, which is not that impressive. All right. So here's the thing. People are like, Serial, you complain too much. I tell it like it is. I'm truthful. I'm your boy, right? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell it how it is. You know, if you get a 5-incher, I'm not going to tell you it's a foot long. So here we go. And I don't know why you're showing it, but it is what it is. So yeah, we've got new gen. We've got last gen. If you look at the bear does look better. It looks better. It looks a lot like... It looks more bearish, but the face is still pretty off. Like, you can tell this is a retexturing. This isn't a reimagining. This is a retexture. Okay, if you look in the distance, you can see the trees, the grass, all that looks pretty similar. This isn't one of those screenshots that jumps out at me and says like, oh my god, this is a brand new game. This jumps out at me and it says like, oh, they did some reskinning here. It looks better, but that's about it. We do have some better stuff though, because we've got the boats here, and with the, I think we've got another screenshot that's going to cement this, but with the next generation of Rust, the water is perfection. It makes me thirsty. It makes me want to drink. It makes me want to get naked and jump. And it's good stuff, right? I know. I'm giving a little bit of I'm giving a little bit too much away when it comes to how I swim, but blow out your candle, because otherwise it's going to get a little homo. Anyways, though, no, like the water looks a lot better. The boat textures, the skins, all that. Again, it looks better. You can see there's a little bit more detail with the sand too. So if you zoom in on the sand on the old one and the new one, on the old one, it just looks like a little bit like blah. On the new one, it has a little bit more detail to it. It looks a little bit more fine. Look, this isn't going to be a 4080 that you're running with. This isn't some sort of next gen NVIDIA stuff that's going to make NVIDIA another $1 trillion company. No, this is newer consoles, but it looks a lot better, and the textures for the boat look a lot better. The thing here, a lot of people like where I think the problem comes in with these graphics, especially for me. You look at this on your phone and you don't zoom in. If you zoom in, you notice that the boat has a lot more detail to it, a lot more texture, a lot more oomph to it, and that's something that's going to show when you actually play the game. Right now, when you're looking at these screenshots, unless you zoom in on everything, it doesn't feel the same. But like, just zoom in on something like the nails on the boat, and you'll see just how much clearer they are. This is a texture reskinning. There's some new shaders and things like that probably going on, but the texture reskin is a solid one. It's adding a lot of detail to something like a boat. It looks better. I still think it's a little blown out, but again, that's something that they can fix. People are always, sometimes people get on me and they're like, Serial, you complain too much. Like, this isn't, there's complaints and then there's like complaints, right? Like, this is one of those complaints like, hey, you know, like, I'm trying to think of like a good one, like, hey, your light's on, or hey, I don't like this color of light bulb. That's an easy fix, right? Like, I'm not saying the foundation's bad. I'm saying there's a little thing that could be tweaked, and they can do that. It's very easy for them. I'm a programmer. I know what I'm saying. Like, none of the comments I've said so far are something that, like, if 99% of people agreed with me, D11 could probably change this overnight. And, you know, it's a programmer. They probably get high. They're probably a little lazy. I know I am. I'm talking from experience here. I'm not throwing stones at anyone except for myself, but if it was me, maybe it'd take a week, but you know, it is what it is. Basically, these are easy fixes. Okay, there's nothing here that I'm like, they need to redo the whole game now. Next up, though, we've got some skins. Okay, and these, again, they look better, but this is probably like the most mid screenshot that I've found yet. So the skins look better, right? Like, again, it looks better. They put that little tint on it that makes you think you're down in Mexico, even though it's snowing. Is what it is. If you look at the skins, though, also, like, let's just shout out to that barrel there. That thing is small. It looks small in the other picture too. It's just like a distance thing. Threw me off a bit. I thought it was supposed to be closer, but anyways. No, if you look at the skins, you can see there's a lot more texture to it. They're a little bit shinier, right? They feel a little bit more. they feel a little bit newer. I don't know if that's like a good thing. The other ones were shiny too. To be honest, skins and Rust probably shouldn't be that shiny, but they do that so people buy them, because if all the skins look like shit, you probably wouldn't buy them and you probably wouldn't spend 20, 30, $40. Speaking of which, there's a new EU law that is going to affect that. But that's probably for another video. Anyways, though, look at the skins. Like, it looks better, it looks more detailed, but there's nothing here that's like too crazy. It feels like the boat textures, you got a lot more detail, a lot more zing out of it. Whereas with this, they look better, but if you zoom in on, let's say, like you zoom in on the scissors, right? It's not popping like a newly textured thing would. What I'm trying to say is it's a nice reimagining, but it's not something that's like mind blowing. I don't think anyone's gonna log in and their skins are gonna look a ton better. The one caveat here, glowing skins. I want to see some glowing skins, D11. If you got a little glow for me, I could use it. I could use it. Next up, we got this pure perfection screenshot right here. This is honestly the best screenshot I have seen for the next gen of console. Like, everybody needs to see this. I probably should have led with it, but I'm a mid tier. I'm a low. I don't know what type of tier content creator I am, but I'm definitely like, when it comes to celebrities, I'm down there at the bottom. I'm like, the local garbage man. There's a few people that know who I am, but not too many. Anyways, though, if you look at it, if you're looking at the local garbage man, because that's not a play on words to like refer to the console edition of Rust, but if it was, that would be a really good play. Let's say it's a play on words. Screw it, why not? Anyways, though, look at this. You can see there's submarines. They're keeping those in the game. They're not removing things. That's always a good sign. That that would make people mad. Instead of getting features, we lost features. They make you pay, and then it's like, hey, guess what? Like, 5 of the monuments were removed, and you don't get subs anymore, and you don't get horses. We're going back so that we can go forward, boys. Now, man, that would be a real short bus time. That would be, man. Anyways, though, it looks a lot better. Like the sun reflecting off the water, that is beautiful. That sub floating there. If you look at the water, if you look at that little bit of like, if you look at the sub, like, it's the water doesn't just cut right off at the sub. Like, there's a little bit of like, you can sort of see under the water a little bit. Like, there's way more detail to this, and it just looks beautiful. It looks stunning. It looks spectacular. This is the perfect screenshot that gives us what we want to see for the next generation Rust. This makes me excited for it. This is beautiful. It really is like a beautiful screenshot. It looks great. The fact that you can still see a little bit under the water, you get that little bit of like opacity to it. That's nice. There's a lot of nice little touches in here that just it adds that extra like special feeling to the game. If you look into the background, everything like that, there's nothing visible. It really gives us too much of a hint of anything. I think maybe, I'm not sure if you can see a base or there's something in the background, but I can't really tell what it is. The draw distance is better, I think, than previously, so that's always a plus. That's pretty much the only extra thing that we can sort of glean from this. It looks like there's been some retexturing on the monuments. Things do look better, but like, the extent of it, we're not going to really know until we jump into it. But we do have some more details regarding the next gen version of Rust, because there's some interesting stuff here. So first off, there was some talk about anti-cheat, okay, and that's a big one, because a lot of people are worried about this, right? So like, anti-cheat, will it be with the next gen version of Rust? Will there be an anti-cheat? They said yes, we are tracking cheaters at the moment and should have a system online for launch which will enable us to start automatically banning players. This is great. I love the fact that they're introducing a new system. What it is remains to be seen. But PC version Rust, I've been playing with that a little bit, and that gave me a glimpse, right? So there's certain things you can do, like a keyboard doesn't behave the same way as a mouse. No duh. But that's just how it works. Like, some people, they make certain moves, and you can tell, you can almost feel that it is not controller. I'm not that skilled. Like, I'm an old guy, right? Like, I see someone do something, I don't know if you're just hopped up on Adderall in youth, or if you're actually doing something that's impossible. But a lot of people do, especially the devs and stuff like that. They can look at all that minuscule stuff, see how many buttons you're pushing at once, everything like that. If you're going up, down, all around, all at the same time, they probably know that you're cheating. If they see that, they can do a ban. That's pretty simple. The other thing that they can do is, on the PC version of Rust, they've got this concept of premium skins. And what that means is only people with so many skins can play on a server. So let's say like a server, maybe the servers can set the limits, I don't know, but like, They can say if you have $100 or more of skins, you can play on these premium servers. And then what happens is only players who invest in the game can play on these servers. It means that you've paid for the console edition of Rust, and you've also paid for skins. The more skins you have, the less likely you are to want to risk your account cheating, because if you get caught, not only do you have to rebuy the game, you also lose all of your skins. And some of those skins you're not going to be able to get back, because unlike PC, you can't trade skins on the console edition of Rust. So that's the other thing people need to remember. If you're cheating, it is time to stop, because those bans, they're gonna hurt a lot. If you got hundreds or even $1,000 worth of skins, is it worth cheating? Like, would you be willing to lose that? If you're cheating, I'd say like stop now, and definitely stop with the next gen, because if you get caught and you get banned, that's all going in the garbage. That's a lot of money that you're never gonna be able to see again. And the only thing you can do is see it because they're skins, but at least you can use them. Next up, we've got something about maps. They said, will there be bigger maps and higher population servers? The answer is yes, but not at launch. Higher pop servers and bigger maps will be added to the game in a future update. Additionally, they talked about more options for community server providers, and they said potentially they're currently in talks with server providers and will share more info about it closer to the release. So if you remember, for the original release of Rust, the way it worked is it came out, they said all these things. They said they were working with server providers, blah, 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 and then it took like a decade and a half to release everything. You know, when it started, I was a little guy, and when I ended, I was a big guy, and I did that many times over and over and over again, if you get my drift. But no, like, when they say stuff like this, in my opinion, there just isn't the credibility there for me to say, oh yeah, we're getting new providers, this is going to be awesome. Like, maybe we will, maybe we won't. Those negotiations can fall through. I think they have fallen through in the past. Maybe they're reopening them. They've got some numbers, some stats. They can bring it forward and say, look at how much the provider made. But whether or not anything actually comes of that, it's very, very hard to know at this point. And all I want to do is just tell people, like, hey, hey, well, your expectations. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. It doesn't sound like this is something we're not going to get this on release, and that just tells me that everything's just sort of early stages here. They're hoping they can make something happen. Maybe they're going to be able to go to providers with sales, say like, "Hey, look, there's some potential here. It's worth doing." But it's probably going to depend on how the game sells, how it does. So we just got to cross our fingers, cross our toes, find a partner, and cross our D's and see what happens. And finally, we're going to be talking about something for the next gen and the current gen version of Rust. And when we're saying next gen's a new gen that's coming out for the current gen of consoles, is very confusing, but both generations of Rust, there's a new map. It's a pretzel map. It looks cool. It's probably something someone at D11 cooked together pretty quickly, but basically they saw that people love the donut map. They made a pretzel map. You're going to be able to play it and eat pretzels at the same time, which is pretty damn awesome. Anyways, that's all we've got for the console edition of Rust. I'm going to try and do videos like this. Maybe every week I'm going to try and do an update video. So yeah, if you got questions, comments, and anything that you would like me to talk about, answer, or anything in between, post it down below. And now you can relight your candle and get back to whatever you're doing before you were watching this video. Until next time, peace.